What is going on, everybody? Today we are checking out one of the most recommended videos on this channel. Yes, it's another amazing video from Elly Productions. I say amazing because I assume it's going to be amazing. This is the greatest pass in racing history. It's going to be a bit of a long one, so buckle up, guys. Go get a popcorn. We go do whatever you got to do and get your ears back here. All right, let's jump into the video.
The date is September 5th, 2021.
Oh, that's not too
in the final corner of the final lap
long ago.
Of the Southern 500. It seems like Denny Hamlin's got it in the bag, but as he enters turn 3 with a comfortable lead, Kyle Larson, who's led more laps than anyone else tonight, is about to take the fight right to
Only 3 drivers that were winless, and now he's slow on the track. The 5 right up behind
Boom,
him.
round the backside.
Smoke coming out from Larson. Larson up against the wall. It's a drag race to the checkered flag. Denny Hamlin's going to win it.
For a split second, it looked like he could do the impossible, but as his fenders shred and his momentum stalls out, he bumps into the back of his adversary.
It was trying to do the wall thing as well.
It could have been one of the greatest passes to ever grace the sport of auto racing, but it fell just short. And although he didn't win, NASCAR fans would remember this move for a long time to come. But lost in everyone's recollections was the driver looking on from third, a journeyman who had just had one of the best races of his career. A guy with whom we're about to get very familiar.
Okay, this is somebody new to me. The who, what, when, where, why, and how of Ross Chastain's. Okay, I've never heard that name. I don't think.
Ross Chastain, born and raised in Alva, Florida, hails from a family of watermelon farmers spanning back 7 generations. And growing up, he was slated to become the 8th. But around age 12, he would take up a hobby that would stick with him to this day. Watermelon chucking. Just kidding, but also not.
Shoot, y'all see that? Oh, she got whacked to the face. We gotta see it one more time. We gotta see it one more time.
Hobby that would stick with him to this day. Watermelon chucking. Just kidding, but also not really. His origins can be traced back to Punta Gorda Speedway, where he raced and won driving late models and super trucks. And as he approached his late teens, his talent was beginning to show, winning over 50 races, including a championship in the 2011 NSSWSOASCRLMP.
What the hell?
Good God. One of the people in attendance for that series was team owner Stacy
That's some
Compton,
crazy acronym.
who was looking for a replacement after his driver, Justin Marks, vacated his seat midway through the season. Ross would answer the call, and what was supposed to be a one-off start at the Lucas Oil Raceway turned into his big break, with the 18-year-old phenom finishing 10th out of 36 drivers in his very first start.
That's
and
not bad at all.
Come in at champion Austin Dillon.
Lucas Oil Raceway, your first ever start, get a top 10. First of all, congratulations on a solid debut here in the Camping World Truck Series.
Thank you, sir. Means a lot.
Don't use sir, please. My dad's at home.
His media presence may have needed some work, but as a race car driver, he had made it clear
he was here to stay. Yo.
But in chasing his dream, he would find out just how hard hacking it in NASCAR really is. For the next 7 years, he would bounce around from team to team, sporting a watermelon-themed paint scheme and a can-do attitude everywhere he went. And although he showed some promise every now and again, he would end up being pigeonholed as a backmarker driver, destined to languish with teams that have no business being in the big show. To many star drivers, he was nothing more than a roadblock, an unnecessary fixture on the leaderboard who would often find himself tangling with top talents.
Mr. Ross Chastain. Oh, the watermelon guy. Somebody needs to whoop his ass.
But in the latter half of 2018, he would finally...
What if drivers want to whoop somebody's ass? They keep saying this. They did something for Keselowski. Yeah, they wanted to whoop his ass too, man. It's like if they don't like you, they want to kick your ass.
Get his shot in top-tier equipment. Chip Ganassi's slogan is that he likes winners, which probably made him reluctant to tap Chastain, who by his 129th start in the Xfinity Series had yet to find victory lane. But by rolling the dice on a wing and a prayer, both of them would win big in Las Vegas.
Coming out of turn number 4, he's going to earn his first win in the Xfinity Series.
And that was it. After years of hauling C-tier equipment around the track, Ross Chastain had finally made it, solidifying his place in NASCAR for good. 55 days after his maiden win, he and Ganassi announced a full-season partnership for the following year, as well as a full season with Premium Motorsports and select starts with Nice Motorsports. It seemed like things were finally coming together.
Hell yeah.
And greatness was sure to follow.
FBI, open up! What did he do? Was smuggling watermelon?
A week before Christmas in 2018, the FBI raided the home of Jeff and Paulette Karpoff, owners of Chip Ganassi's primary sponsor, DC Solar. It turns out that the company, originally thought to be a thriving solar energy manufacturer, was actually the biggest Ponzi scheme in the history of Eastern California, cheating their investors out of over $1 billion.
Holy
of course, the company went under, and it left a gaping hole in.
This is what I always say. When you see all shining, businesses doing well, people buying Bugattis, buying Lamborghinis, doing all of this stuff, but they have a nice, solid business in front. You never know what's going on in the back end, yo. You never know what they're doing in the back. And you just see the glory, the shining, everything, and you're like, oh man, I want to be like them. But yeah, they're doing some wild in the back.
Ganassi sponsorship plan, one that the team won't be able to fill. And so 2 days after New Year's, a month and a half before Daytona, Ganassi shut down its Xfinity Series program for good, putting Ross Chastain out of a job.
Damn!
For all intents and purposes, he was back at square one, forced back into fumbling around with mid-pack teams during the most grueling part of his career. So who were these mid-pack teams? Founded in 2016, Colleague Racing was a surprisingly competitive startup that could never seem to find victory lane. And by their 4th season in 2019, they were still looking for that first win. By now they had expanded to a 2-car team, and for the Daytona race in July, they stretched to 3, adding the number 16 driven by the Melon Man himself. He had already made a few starts for the team with mixed results, but with a new number and a new lease on life, Ross Chastain led a 3-car train to their very first victory.
Yay!
Wanted this very scenario to win a race. How about win at Daytona? Ross Chastain will win.
Yay!
This win kicked off a dynasty of dominance for Colleague Racing, who would go on to win the next 6 out of 12 super speedway races over the course of the next 3 years.
That's impressive.
And in the truck series, Chastain joined up with another recent startup in Nice Motorsports. Unlike Colleague, this team was a real zero. That is until Chastain came in and showed what they could do.
Ross Chastain bringing it to the line. He's going to win at Kansas.
After this race, he decided to make a run for the Truck Series Championship, and although he fell just 1 spot short, he had once again proven himself to be one of the greatest rising talents in NASCAR. And to this day, despite hosting 41 different drivers, including the likes of Travis Pastrana, Kyle Larson, and Connor Daly, Ross Chastain remains the only driver to win in a Nice Motorsports truck. Despite his success in the Truck Series, his win at Daytona gave Matt Colleague an itch he just had to scratch, and so for 2020, Ross was tapped to drive the 10-car full-time. Finally, a year where he didn't have to jump from car to car, where he could race in one series and focus on one championship. So how did it go? Well, he immediately jumped from car to car, and then...
Oh, the big crash. Holy moly. Damn.
Yep, he'd have to race in another series. And on top of that, the world ended, and then another driver would be put out of commission, albeit for much different reasons. Once again, looks like Chastain's going to have to answer the call.
Some people are just so unlucky, man. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for him.
Matt Kenseth returning to the Cup Series in the number 42 Chevrolet with Chip Ganassi Racing.
Oh, okay, that was unexpected. That's okay, because he still had a full season in the Xfinity Series, where he would once again impress, but ultimately fail to find victory lane, and make a few enemies in the process.
He's out front, but can he hold it against the wall? He gets into the wall. So does it.
Oh, he nearly went through though.
Brandon Jones is leading.
We just saw the replay.
He was inches away from actually
Yeah,
overtaking him.
Yeah, he was running his line. I was running my line. I thought we had a great race going there.
Do you think all the moves made there were fair?
Wow.
You know, Marty, it's pretty crazy to get out after a race like that and get asked questions like that. It lead me into bad answers. But no, man, it's to be able to go up against a guy like Denny Hamlin, a future Cup champion, and go to the end like that with him, Marty, is I'm just proud of this group. I'm proud of the effort.
Thankfully, in due time, Ross would finally get his shot in the 42, running it full-time in the Cup Series for 2021. This was a big year for NASCAR, as it would host the introduction of 3 new teams, 2311, Live Fast, and Trackhouse Racing. And whereas the other 2 would take a more traditional approach, Trackhouse would turn the concept of a stock car racing team on its head. First of all, there's Justin Marks. Yep, the guy who inadvertently gave Chastain his first big break. He's an exceptional race car driver who's well versed in a wide range of disciplines, but one could argue that he's an even better entrepreneur. He was an early investor in GoPro, and with the help of fellow driver Michael McDowell, he opened the GoPro Motorplex, a staple of the Carolinian karting scene. His best venture, however, was yet to come, as Trackhouse would encapsulate everything he had envisioned as a NASCAR team owner, and now all they had to do was find a driver.
He will be the first ever international champion in NASCAR.
Daniel Suarez had made a name for himself as the first
Does that mean international champion of NASCAR? They don't go anywhere, or do they?
foreign-born driver to win the Xfinity Series championship. But after being forced into the Cup Series a year sooner than expected, it was mostly doom and gloom. Despite driving for championship-caliber teams like Joe Gibbs and Stuart Haas, he just couldn't amass the stats expected of him. And by 2020, it looked like the chance of any promising opportunity had come and gone. But lo and behold, there was Trackhouse. Despite their somewhat sordid history on track, Mark saw something in Suarez that nobody else did, and he'd be thanking his lucky stars that he chose him to bear the flag. And the last, but certainly not least piece of this puzzle was Pitbull.
What's Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, back at it again and let you know. I just came to remind y'all.
That's right, Mr. 305 himself. In an interesting time that saw personalities like Michael Jordan and Floyd Mayweather investing in NASCAR, Mr. Worldwide decided to throw his hat in the ring as well. And together they would create a super team for the ages.
They did race.
And although their maiden season wouldn't bear much fruit, they had their eyes set on the next generation.
It's just one of the owners, right? I'm guessing.
Originally set to debut in 21, NASCAR had been testing its next-gen car since late 2019. And like the generations before, it was meant to be a supercharged spin on a modern stock car, but with two catches. Number one, durability. The fragility of the Gen 6 took away a quality of NASCAR that fans hold near and dear. Good old beating, banging, and roughing 'em up. So NASCAR made an effort to make the next gen more durable, able to take more punishment like the days of old. And number two, costs. One of the greatest Cinderella stories was that of Furniture Row Racing, a small team based out of Denver, Colorado, who climbed their way to a championship only to close their doors the following year. We've already seen how a lack of funding can nix a team wholesale, so NASCAR amended the problem by creating a cost-cutting system where, instead of teams building cars from top to bottom, they would receive the chassis and parts from designated manufacturers. This would bring the prices down, as well as make the racing more even-keeled, giving the newer, smaller, underfunded teams a better shot at finding success. A new era was on the horizon, but in the revolving door of racing, new teams enter, and old ones leave.
We're here to announce that Trackhouse Entertainment Group and Trackhouse Racing has purchased the NASCAR operation of Chip Ganassi Racing.
Chip Ganassi's operations would be bought out by none other than Trackhouse Racing, who purchased the shop, resources, and two charters, one for Daniel Suarez and another for, well, I think you know by now.
Trackhouse Racing has announced that Ross Chastain will be signing on as the second driver for the team in 2022.
Up to this point, neither Ross nor Trackhouse had won a race in the Cup Series. But with an all-star lineup, airtight plan, and the utmost confidence heading into 22, destiny would finally be forced to oblige.
And Ross Chastain beats and bangs his way to turn 20 and off the corner to the checkered flag.
Great job, boy.
First win. It must feel good. But he did capitalize on other people
here,
like
there was just
falling
no
off. So
wait, where the
hell does he get a watermelon from to smash? Like I've been seeing it and nobody's showing where the watermelon comes from. Does he race with the watermelon next to him every time? Or does somebody run to the track and give it to him? I have questions, guys. I have many questions.
And Daniel Suarez's first win at Sonoma, the team beat their previous year's stats with prejudice, putting Trackhouse Racing on top of the world.
Let's go.
It didn't come without controversy, however, as Ross would find himself ruffling more feathers than ever before, mainly those of his old foe, Denny Hamlin. And when NASCAR rolled into St. Louis, the other drivers made it very clear what they thought of the humble watermelon farmer.
Are y'all going to say it or me?
Go ahead.
Okay. The 11 is waiting on Ross Chastain, I believe.
Or is he?
Here we go.
Yes, he might be.
This Howard just said.
What's his number? Number one.
You're right.
Oh, around goes the 9, Chase Elliott. When they can.
Tells me we're going to have to go back and watch this replay. I think the one car had something to do with this.
You mean the car that is right up Chase Elliott's left rear?
Tell me the Lord don't have a sense of humor. How does that work?
There's Chase right there with him. This could be almost as fun as the front of the pack.
Well, Denny didn't, but...
Oh, he's going to try to take him out. Revenge.
It's a double on it.
A double tag team.
Oh, my God.
This is a show.
No,
he's getting bullied left, right, center.
Despite his detractors, he couldn't be slowed down. And at the following race in Indianapolis, he literally couldn't be bothered to slow down. Drivers had been getting wrecked into turn 1 all
Oh
day
my
long,
gosh.
and being stuck 4 wide, outside, entering a corner with maybe 3 lanes of room. Yeah, he knew he wouldn't make it. But thankfully, there was another way.
Oh! I literally just reacted to that video. Yeah, that was the last episode or the last video. My goodness gracious, nah, it's crazy. The crazy things that people do to gain advantage in this world is absolutely insane.
3 wide, 4 wide for second. Here around Austin Cindric.
Side by side up front though. Chastain.
Everything is connecting now, guys. I'm becoming somebody that understands this sport a bit more.
Say what you will, but if you ask me, this was highly preferable to the alternative. And he would have gotten away with it too, had it not been for the wording NASCAR used for its rule. You can only use the runoff if you make a, quote, honest attempt to slow down. Needless to say, NASCAR wasn't buying it, and he would end up being relegated to a 27th place finish.
What were you thinking?
What do you mean, where?
Taking the access road there, and is that something you and the team had talked about earlier? It's like, that's a great option, and it may not cost us anything?
No, Dave, no.
In the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter, because his eyes were already set 5 weeks ahead to the playoffs. Wait. Playoffs? There are playoffs in NASCAR?
Yeah.
All right, let's go through this again. In 2004, NASCAR implemented a points reset with 10 races
could do
left,
with a refresher
allowing
course.
only the top 10 drivers at that point to qualify for the championship. Then they expanded it to 12, then 13, but in 2014, they revamped the whole system from the ground up. 16 drivers, 3 rounds, 3 races each,
Wait,
and
the
then a
playoffs are
championship
gone now
race.
anyway, aren't
Winner
they?
takes all.
I think.
It's not the most popular format by any means, but to its credit, it has created some crazy highlights, and the best of them, no doubt, come from here.
Kenza takes him out. Logano into the wall. Caution comes out and the crowd roars. The bumper to the back of the 24. Elliott goes around. Hamlin takes the lead and the caution comes out. Here comes Logano. A drag race, and it's going to be Logano getting the win.
Hey, stop.
Oh my gosh.
As well, and Harvick is going to be out of the playoffs.
Most ovals are built with fairly wide turns, allowing the cars to race with more speed in the corners. But back in 1947, H.C. Earls was caught in quite the pickle. The land he had purchased for the Martinsville Speedway was flanked on one side by a railroad track, and so instead of creating a traditionally shaped oval, he built something more akin to 2 parallel drag strips. This created a kind of racing hard to find anywhere else, as drivers would be forced to slow down a lot more than usual just to make the corner. This leads to a lot of tight-knit, close-quarters, bumper-to-bumper racing. There truly is no other place like it, and the race they do in the fall is always a classic. Seriously, I could name an iconic moment from just about every fall Martinsville race in the past decade, but something about the 2022 spring race felt odd. There wasn't a lot of passing. There wasn't a lot of that good old beating, banging, and roughing them up. And above all else, it felt like the train had found its way onto the track. If there was ever a year for the Martinsville streak to die, this was it, and the teams now knew what to expect when they returned in the fall. What no one had expected, however, was Ross Chastain. He hadn't even sniffed the postseason in the year before, but now, things looked a whole lot different. Both Trackhouse cars made it to the second round of the playoffs, and looked set to advance to the third, until a last-minute mechanical failure knocked Daniel Suarez out. This left Chastain as the only remaining Trackhouse driver in the penultimate round of the playoffs, but that didn't intimidate him. He opened the round with a runner-up finish at Vegas, and then another at Homestead, and by the time they arrived in Martinsville, he had put himself in prime position to chase a championship. But as the laps ticked by and stage points were given, it was clear that Ross was behind the 8 ball. At the white flag, he was 2 positions away from advancing, but his competitors were too far ahead to pass. To everyone else, this is how his season would end. Quietly, unceremoniously, and 2 points behind his biggest rival. For the final time, he would make his way down the backstretch.
This is that one. I remember.
What was he thinking at this moment?
Yes. See, now I'm knowing things. I'm figuring it out. As part of the last react, this was one of them. Yeah, this is the iconic move in NASCAR.
Was he thinking about Kyle Larson's send the year before? Or his own send in Indianapolis? Was he thinking about all the moments of uncertainty, not knowing if he'd ever race again? Was he thinking about his first big break? Or his second? Or his third? Was he thinking about the durability of the new car? Or his rivalry with Denny Hamlin? Was he thinking of Martinsville's unique shape?
I was just thinking about getting to that
system that put him there to begin with?
Last
what
4,
was he
baby.
Thinking at this moment?
I gotta get through.
Home. in the watermelon fields.
I was thinking about
growing up
watermelons
alongside his brother and playing NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup on their Nintendo GameCube. That's what he was thinking about. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Bell out of turn 4. He's going to do it. He's won his way into the championship.
Let's go get us a championship.
And the fight for the point, right at the line. The one of Chastain past Hamlin.
It was a video game move off into turn 3.
Chastain, Elliott, Bell, and Logano are going to fight for a championship in Phoenix. Take a look at what he did.
I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
Ross Chastain used the wall all the way around this
Everybody else was standing there all confused and shit. Like, what the hell? How the hell did that just happen? I was there. This is my championship to go through. And this random guy just blasted around the wall to get to it before me. Nah, unbelievable move. Unbelievable.
To race his way into the championship 4.
He went from 10th to 5th place.
For all of life's
Wow,
predictability,
5 places gained.
there are a few
Crazy.
moments that forever stand the test of time, that force us to suspend our disbelief, not out of spite or refusal, but because they are so hard to believe that even when you're there, seeing it, in the moment, you can't believe it. They don't come often, but that's what makes them important to appreciate, to archive, and to look back on. He would go on to finish runner-up in the championship, but it didn't matter. He had done something that no one else had ever done before, and because of this, in just his second full-time season, he was vice champion of NASCAR. You can tell me about PK and Senna. You can tell me about Zanardi and Herta. You can tell me about Stewart and, well, everyone. And while they are iconic in their own right, they still exist within the realm of possibility. Chastain did the impossible. He put the world around him into slow-mo with a pass that can only happen here, now, with this car.
Oh, this guy
track,
missed all the action. There are some people in there, they were not even looking at the race. They were too busy talking and they were at the goddamn place to witness history and they missed it. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
All right, we're going to go to questions for Ross.
You think they have questions?
I think they do. They've been waiting.
I have questions.
They've been waiting for you. So.
Nah, that was amazing, guys. That was cool. So I've been thinking about, because I've seen that move a few times on like other YouTube videos and things like that. I never really know the story behind it, and I wasn't expecting this video right here to be about that. So in the end, is that quite surprising to me. So I enjoy that. Yeah, I like these videos, man. It's like a whole story. It gives you the backstory from when they were born, the first steps, the first words and things like that, up to the point where they're doing some crazy stuff in NASCAR. Absolutely brilliant. I love that. And yes, as always, we're gonna jump out of here, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. All right, yes, as a Formula 1 fan, I'm learning a lot of NASCAR. See you in the next one. Take it easy. Goodbye. Peace.